what's going on? Is my mic on? Yeah. Trying to go live earlier. Usually I go live around late at night. I don't know why I do that. It's crazy. I shouldn't go live that late, but I do, and it is what it is. As you can see from the title, OBS 27.2 has came out and come out, whatever it came out has cometh. I don't know, one of the two, but OBS 27.2 is out. I think it's got a few cool features in here that most people I stream with are like beginning to intermediate. I do think there will be a few streams in here that we can utilize for what we do. I think they will be extremely beneficial in our streaming platform. First of all, you want to make sure that all these tutorials that we do to kind of help you at whatever level you're at. We hope that there's something we can share with you that you can utilize in your stream. Obviously, YouTube is a huge community, and so the idea of not only using our channel but using any channel you can. We watch tutorials all day before we're streaming, as after we're streaming as well. So we're not just asking you to gain insight from us, but anybody who can actually help you use OBS, we recommend you watch them all. Just because I think you can learn something from everyone. We're not people that know everything, or do we claim to. So whoever you can get some insight from, we think you should definitely try to get some insight from, and also try to compare different styles. I know gamers are notorious for creating very, very complicated scenes, and they're really good scenes. Just make sure if those scenes are for you or what elements you can take from those scenes, you should utilize those. And so with that being said, we downloaded OBS 27.2, and I'm going to switch over here on the screen. As you can see, let me go to, let me do the turn off studio mode for a second. Oh, that's going to cause that goofy overlay right there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add nothing. I'm not going to add anything. I'm going to go back to studio mode so you can see everything on the screen. And I'm going to make this bigger like this a little bit so you can see that as well. But there's a few things in here that I think are pretty cool. If we go over to I have an image here on top, and you can see the image is black, and the image actually doesn't blend in with the background. I think one of the cooler features that they have here is if you right click on this image, let me see, let's right click on creative logo. They have a thing here called blending mode. So you can change now the blending mode of the logos that you put in there. So as you can see, I was able to get rid of the black in that logo. Let me go to subtract. If I go to subtract, transition over, it's going to change it to a reversed image just by the blending mode, similar to Photoshop. Excuse the clip. Let me turn my lavalier down. And there's another blending mode here. Screen obviously is going to remove the darker colors as it does in Photoshop. Keep the original appearance a little bit different than the first blending mode. And then we have multiply. That should work great on photos that have white backgrounds. You want to get rid of the white background. You got to make sure it's a lighter source underneath it to use that. And then also blending mode, lighten, of course. These are all almost Photoshop style elements, and darken. There you go. So those are all of the blending modes that we have in the new edition of 27.2. And I'm only covering the things that I believe, at least couple of features that I believe will help the new or intermediate streamer actually benefit from. The other one's a little bit more advanced, like getting into some settings for like the move transition. Also, there's a setting in here that's supposed to benefit you when you're doing screen captures, and there's supposed to be a setting here that says hide OBS windows from screen captures, and it reads this setting will hide all non-projector OBS Studio windows from being captured by OBS, and that's when you get this window repeat that you get in the background here that you're seeing up in the upper right hand corner, upper left hand corner. I've not yet got that to work properly, and I don't know if it's supposed to just hide, keep the repeat mode from happening or what, but I've checked it out. I click apply, I click OK. What that does is it drops OBS to the desktop. But if I'm doing a tutorial, I kind of need that on the screen. So if I'm doing a tutorial in OBS, it's good in one sense to hide the actual program in the software. But for what I do, I need to have the screen up pretty much all the time. So that may help you if you're doing gameplay. That may help you if you're doing video links in your videos, if you're trying to bring other guests in and you don't want that to pop up. That kind of minimizes that for you. So that's a decent one. The other feature I have here, I can't remember where to find it at because I particularly wouldn't use it, but I think this would be a good feature for you. So you guys give me a second because I have to find out where the changelog is for the setting. And once again, I'd be transparent about you. I don't use this setting much, but I believe it's a setting involved. But here's why I'm thinking it's going to be beneficial to you. Anybody who's using the move transition to switch between scenes. And if I were to switch between scenes, let me demonstrate the move transition, which is just a plugin. I'm going to go down to the drop transition and do move. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to just click OK for now. And when I transition between scenes here, you will see what will be considered a pretty slick transition here. So that was just a window switch to where my camera grew and my second scene shrunk. And so that is a pretty significant transition that I believe everybody can use, because if you are into using some slick transitions or trying to make your broadcast a little better, then having that transition does make it look a little bit more appealing. You could change the time duration from 300 milliseconds to whatever it is to something slower or even something faster. You don't necessarily have to use a default cut or a default fade, but I think that is something that you should look into. But I believe it's, if you click on the scenes, give me a second here. I'm going to click on add a filter. Where is it at? Add filter. Oh, I should just click the filter button. Sorry about this, y'all. Click the filter button, and then I'm going to add a move filter, I believe here. Move source, click OK. And let me click on scene filter. There we go. Move scene. Move source, there we go. Okay, there we go. So there was an instance, and let me see if I can transition over to my screen so you can see what I think this would be beneficial for. The move transition has a lot of options that you can use. If you right click on your scene right here and click on filter, and then you click on another plus button to add a scene to your scene transition or whatever you're going to do, you're going to click on move source, click OK. Now, before, this window was really far down, and you had to scroll to actually see all of these different. Are you actually seeing this? Or they are not showing you all of this? Hold on. Let me go into the settings real quick. Give me a second, because it's not. Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. You're gonna right click on tutorial, go to filters, and as you can see, I added a transition, or excuse me, I added a filter to the actual entire scene, right? And what you'll notice here, and let me see if I can move this up, is that normally this window is locked, and it's usually way down here to where you have to scroll to find all the options. They actually did this to where you can actually scroll up now and resize the window for your options. And so actually being able to see all of the options at once, I think that's going to be a good addition, in my opinion, for intermediate to beginning streamers who are actually using the move transition, so that they can actually set their scenes up a little easier. There's a ton of settings here in OBS that need to be mastered, and they need to be considered if you need them or not. Sometimes when we look at the different ways that we stream, or look at the different ways that we put our broadcast together, we have a tendency to look at other streams and say, well, I want to do that and do that. I admonish you and encourage you to use what works for you, and use what makes your stream the best stream that it can for you. And as you grow and as you learn more, then you'll be able to continuously improve on the quality, the broadcast, as well as maybe even engage the audience and get some feedback from them. So this wasn't going to be a long live stream tonight. This was going to be actually just showing you a couple of the features I think you would use in 27.2, which is the image blending mode, which is really good, and then also be able to see the options in the move transition. If you haven't used the move transition, there are plenty of tutorials out there. I don't have to remake any of them because they all go through them in depth. It's been a very popular plugin to use, especially if you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sources or anything like that. So I'd encourage you to go look at some recommended, whatever YouTube recommends for those move transitions. Another thing that I may want to do today is, let's say you're a one-person camera, one-person streamer, right? And you don't have a second camera angle for now. Here's a way to create a second look. It's not super technical, but it is something I think that'll help you just create a new look, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my lens. I'm going to zoom all the way out, right? So that's a pretty wide angle lens. You can see everything in the background. I'm actually going to go into my scenes. I'm going to right click on that. I'm going to add a new scene. I'm going to call it zoom. Then I'm going to add a camera angle, or add a video capture device, and I'm going to add the same device I have, which is my Blackmagic off my ATM Mini. And I'm going to actually zoom in just a little bit. And this really works especially if you're at church. We do this for a lot of churches. We sometimes churches don't have cameramen. And so what we tend to do is we tend to add a zoom scene in for almost every church that we work with, right? And what we do, it doesn't create a ton of different viewpoints for when you are just simply streaming like I am. But if you're in a service, or if you're in some kind of broadcast or some type of podcast or something like that, this could create a different angle for you, or a different look for your audience, because every little bit that you do for your audience can help improve the broadcast. So I have my regular scene right here, and then let me turn off the move transition. I just want it to be a regular fade, right? And then I'm going to transition between the two. So now this isn't a second camera angle, right? It is a second, this is a second camera angle as far as having another camera, but it is a different look. It's a lot closer. If you imagine if we were in a talk show and I had a wide view on everyone that was talking, and then I had a second zoom angle that I could zoom in about 20 or 30%, then I could essentially zoom in on the host, right? And that would make it seem like we have multiple cameras in the building, depending on how far away you are. Once again, I am simply going back and forth between two scenes that have the same source in it. One scene has me in it, and then the other scene has a camera in it again, but now it's blown up about 125, 126%. I'm guessing. I don't know if that's exact, but it sounds intelligent. Haha, there you go. I could do the same thing if I wanted to present some information on the screen and I wanted to move my camera over off to the left. Well, all I did was I went into my scenes, I added my zoom, and I moved it over. And so now if I switch to my second angle, now I'm off to the side. All the information I need would come up right here on my left, write a box, or maybe even comments or whatever it is. And you can see the difference between the two scenes is centered, far away, same lens. Zoom angle is just me closer, but off to which would be the left side of the screen, which actually is going to be on my right side. So a good example of this would be if I'm going to switch back to my scene right here. Let's go into my zoom scene. And actually, I know it's kind of cheesy. Maybe I should show you. I'm actually going to go into the scene and show you what I did. All I did right here is, and I'll delete this scene right now. So remove it. Yes. I added a new scene, right click add, let's name it Zoom. I'm gonna add a video capture device, and I'm gonna add the capture device that I already have. Add existing, click OK, and all I'm gonna do is resize this. So there you go. I'm gonna resize this off to the side, just like that. And this is why it's kind of good for you to have a decent camera and have good lighting and a good lens, so that you're able to do something like this. If you have a 480 lens or a 480 camera or a lower end webcam, this may not work. But I'm gonna do that right there. And then when I switch over, I'm gonna switch to my regular camera right there. Then I'm gonna switch to my zoom view. It's another view. And depending on how many views you want to create, you could essentially create more than one zoom view. You can create zoom right, zoom left. You can create cropped view. You can create whatever you want. But I believe that's a way for you to create somewhat of a second appearance. Let's call it an appearance instead of an angle for your live streams. So that's a short little tip I have for you today. Download OBS version 27.2. Watch other tutorials. Like, I have no problem recommending you to watch other channels. Like, this is not my tube. It's YouTube. It's a tube here for you. And learn as much as you can. Happy streaming. You guys have a blessed day. And hope to see you soon. God bless. Go eat something. Go drink something. Go walk around. Do some push-ups, something. God bless you.